I'm an old woman now, and all I have are my memories to keep me company. 61 years of them. They're scattered pieces of a life that feels both incredibly distant and painfully close. Some of those memories are soft and sweet, like the warmth of a summer afternoon. Others, well, they sting when I touch them. My childhood is mostly a blur. Faces fade, voices echo, and then just fall silent. But sometimes, without any warning, a memory rises to the surface, so sharp and bright that it's impossible to ignore. The first one is the fever. I must have been about 6 years old. I remember lying in bed too weak to move, just staring up at the ceiling. It seemed to breathe, swelling down towards me, then pulling away, as if the room itself were alive. I was just a little girl. I didn't understand what was happening. I only knew that I was terrified. When the fever finally broke, it felt like my throat was on fire. Every swallow was agony. Mom brought me a bowl of vanilla ice cream, her kind face filled with worry. She thought it would soothe the burning, but the cold stung just as badly. Our next-door neighbor, Miss Susan, came by. She was always so gentle. She brought a new pair of sneakers, shiny and white. She told me they were for when I got strong enough to play again. I remember looking at them, a symbol of a future I couldn't quite imagine yet. When I first tried to stand, my legs just wouldn't hold me. They felt like jelly, but Miss Susan, she slipped her arm around my waist, her voice soft and steady. We'll take it one step at a time. And with her help, I did. A shaky step, then another. It was a promise that I would get better, that I would run again. Dad wasn't there when I was sick. He was away working, or so he said. Later, he bragged to everyone who would listen about how he'd driven 80 miles an hour just to get home and check on me. He told the story like a hero's tale, as if the speed of his car could somehow make up for not taking me to a doctor in the first place. Mom told me she did everything she knew how to do. She kept giving me alcohol baths, desperately trying to break the fever, her hands shaking as she wiped my burning skin. She was fighting for me with the only tools she had. Looking back on it now, I realized that fever was my first real lesson in survival. My small body fought with everything it had just to live, and my heart learned how to hold on, how to endure. I didn't know it then, of course, but that experience would set a pattern for my whole life. A pattern of getting sick, getting hurt, and somehow, always, finding a way to stand up again, even if it meant leaning on someone else to help me take those first few steps. That memory, it's not just about being sick. It's about the quiet strength of my mother, the simple kindness of a neighbor, and the complicated love of my father. It's about realizing that even in our weakest moments, there's a flicker of resilience inside us, waiting for the right person to help it catch fire. It taught me that recovery isn't a race. It's a slow, deliberate walk, one step at a time. And sometimes that's the most courageous journey of all. I've had many fevers since then, both of the body and of the soul. Life has thrown its share of challenges my way. There have been times when I felt just as helpless as that little girl in her bed, staring at a ceiling that seemed to be closing in. But I always remember Miss Susan's words, one step at a time. It's become a mantra for me. When the world feels overwhelming, when the pain seems too much to bear, I break it down. One breath, one moment, one step. And what about those sneakers? I wore them until my toes pushed through the front. I ran in them, I played in them, I lived in them. They became a symbol for me, a reminder that even after the worst of the fever, you can always find your footing again. You can always learn to run. That's the thing about memories. They're not just stories we tell ourselves. They're the bricks that build who we are. They shape our understanding of love, of loss, and of our own incredible capacity to heal. Thank you so much for joining me on this little journey back in time. It means the world to share these pieces of my life with you. If you enjoyed this story, please consider liking this video and subscribing to my channel. I have so many more memories to share. I'll see you in the next one.